In this video, I'm going to be showing all the different types of bits I use with the Dremel flex shaft. So there's so many different types of Dremel bits you can use for wood carving. Um, there's basically about 4 or 5 different types I use, and I'm just going to basically show you guys those ones, save you time and money and efforts on wasting your money on other ones. So this video is going to be based on the very beginning Dremel wood carver. And there's so many different types of bits and styles you can get. And I'm just going to show you basically the 4 or 5 main ones I use. What we got here is we got a piece of iron bark. So this is the hardest wood in the world right here. Yeah, it's heavy. And this is a piece of it's a piece of driftwood that's fairly soft wood. It's some kind of fruit wood. So anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you each bit that I use, each Dremel bit that I use, and show you how I use it. Let's start off with these aluminum cutting Dremel bits. Okay, so I always try to make my videos as simple as I can possibly make them so people understand without crazy technical stuff. So these are the aluminum cutting burrs, okay? You get these in my Amazon store. I think they're like they go from $15 to $20 for 10 burrs. So what are you paying, $1.50 or $2 a burr? I like to use these burrs for carving super hard wood, right? You'll see this one here. It's square and it's got a cutter on the back. This is what I use to do lots of like beard hairs. It gives you great texture. These are more like planes when you carve. They cut pretty nice and clean. I want to say when you, like I said, these are the aluminum cutting Dremel bits. When you buy these, make sure that you get the aluminum cutting ones, not the metalworking burrs, because there's 2 different styles. This one here, let's see if we can get it to zoom in. See those flutes they come? There's just one cutter all the way up and down. So that's one flute. These are the metalworking burrs, okay? These are way less of aggressive. These are basically more for sanding. These are cheaper. The metalworking burrs are cheaper, but these ones are way better, way more aggressive, right? So there's all different shapes and styles. So what I'm going to do here is I got this iron bark sent to me a long time ago from Australia. And this is the hardest wood in the world. I'm going to show you a couple little textures I can put in this wood with these burrs. You know, before I get carving, so this is your typical carving burr right here with the little spikes on it, Kutzall or Sabretooth or Typhoons for them. But I'll go over these later. When you use these type of burrs on this super hard wood, you're going to get them dull super fast. Okay, so and these aren't cheap. These are like $15 to $20 a burr for each, compared to $1.50 each. So I suggest anybody in Australia or a place that doesn't have a lot of softwoods and has to carve basically hardwood, get yourself some of these burrs. You're going to really like them. Okay, so let's do a little carving demonstration here. Oh, also before I start carving, these little ones you'll see on Amazon, they're sets of 20. So you get 20 burrs for I think it's $20. So what, $2? That's like 50 cents or $1 a burr. $1 a burr. But these are see how much smaller they are. Sorry, I stuttered my words. See how much smaller they are than these ones? But these are great for detailing. So these are metalworking burrs, but the smaller ones. So make sure if you're looking on Amazon or eBay at these, you see 20 in the pack, not 10. Okay? So that's that. Let's do a couple little carving demonstration on this piece of iron bark. Okay, when I'm using these Dremel bits to carve, I always use the Dremel flex shaft, and I run a Dremel 4000. So this first here is the metalworking burr, the least aggressive. I use it basically for sanding. I'm just going to kind of give it, it's the rounded one here. I'm just going to kind of give it a couple taps on this. And I get my foot pedal to work. Okay, so you can see that did cut. And like I said, this is the hardest wood in the world. See the cut it did? So boom. So even the metalworking burrs will work good for hardwood. Now let's switch off to the aluminum cutting burr. Okay, so here I got the cylinder type right here with the cutter on the bottom. And this is how I do my beard hairs. Okay, you guys can see those cuts, how fast it did it. Gives you good texture for beard hairs. Now let's put in one of these other ones here, a more rounder one, but I got to make sure it's sharp. This one might be dull. A more rounder one and cut deep inside there. Okay, so I got the more rounder one in here now. So let's cut out all these marks that I made with the grain, then we'll cut against the grain. Okay, so that Dremel bit, the aluminum cutter, you can see how fast it made light work out of this super hardwood. That's from the aluminum cutting burr. This is for the metal working burr, and this is for the aluminum cutting burr where I did the beard hairs and then I dug it out. So there's how good the aluminum cutting burrs work for super hardwoods. It's good to get in Australia, and like I repeat, if you live in a desert and you have a problem getting softwoods. Let's move on to the oh, also, let me see if I can find them here. These burrs, see there's 3 cutters on this burr, or let's see here, 1, 2, 3. There's 3 cutters on these burrs. You get these for your Dremel bits. You get these on Amazon or eBay. These are like the aluminum cutting burrs, but way more aggressive. Okay, and these are made in China, so they're not the best steel. When you get them, they cut super wicked and super fast, and they make light work out of things like this, but they get dull super fast. So I suggest if you get these to keep them for the softwood if you want them to last, because they're not the best steel. So these are great burrs too. Yeah, they sure are. They dig into the softwood super fast and super deep, super quick. Okay, let's move on to the next. Also, before I move on, so this series is Dremel bits and Fordham bits I use. So you get those, this is an aluminum cutting bit that fits in the Fordham, and this is a metalworking bit that fits in the Fordham too, or your die grinder. So you can get these bits for your Fordhams or your die grinders. Okay, before I move on, I got to backtrack, and I want to say, when you're using your Dremel handpiece, all the Dremel bits are 1/8 inch, so they'll say 1 backsplash 8. Okay, the ones that you get for your Fordham or your die grinder are 1/4 inch, so they say 1 backslash 4. Okay, so this is an aluminum cutter for my die grinder or my Fordham. Yes, you can get them, and this is the metal working burr for my die grinder or Fordham. So remember, they're a lot bigger than your Dremel bits. Dremel 1 backslash 8, Fordham 1 backslash 4. 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch. 1/4 inch are the bigger ones. They will not fit in your Dremel. Okay, so let's move on to my favorite type of Dremel bits that I use. These are Kutzalls. See how they're like spiky little things on there? So these are the bits that I always use. You get so many different styles and so many different shapes. Let me show you here. Okay, so there's just a few different styles. Here's a taper burr. Here's my favorite one. This is the Kutzall Extreme Flame Burr. Here's a circle burr. Kutzalls come in 3 different strengths. First of all, I'll say, if you guys want to get one of these Kutzall burrs and you're a very beginner, just go to the description down below. You'll see the Kutzall site. It's spelled Kuytzull or something. It will take you to the Kutzall site. Use the code CFusion. You'll save yourself 5%. Sorry, I needed to say that. So if you guys, because I get lots of emails, people ask me, where do I get my burrs? Well, that's where I get my burrs. So there's different makes. Okay, there's 3 different brands that make these type of burrs, these little spiky ones. All right. So there's Kutzall. There's one brand. There's Sabretooth. That's another brand. And there's Typhoon. And that's another brand. Typhoon's made by Fordham. So, but Kutzall and Sabretooth are basically on their own. The Sabretooth, let me see. I got Sabretooth burrs here too. So these 2 ones are Sabretooth burrs, okay? Sabretooth and Kutzall are both excellent burrs. I cannot say one is better than the other, But I do like Kutzall better because I'm a Kutzall affiliate, and I just love this Kutzall Extreme Flame Burr. So Kutzall's my favorite, but Sabretooth is just as good as Kutzall. So it basically, you know, when you're looking at like cordless power tools like drills and stuff, you got Makita and you got DeWalt. Which one's better? Well, we all have our own favorite brands. They're both awesome tools, but we all have our own favorite. You know, maybe because my dad used to use Makita. So, anyways, you know, DeWalt, Makita, they're both equal tools, but they're both just as good as each other. But I suggest Kutzalls. Well, that's just because I'm like a used car salesman. So, like I said, there's many different styles, and with the Kutzalls and Sabretooths, so these are the most aggressive ones, okay? So you can see that the spikes are really aggressive. Let me get rid of this. The spikes are really aggressive. But then there's ones, even say like, for example, pretend this is a Sabretooth, but pretend it's a Kutzall, okay? But see how, so these are both Kutzalls. See how aggressive this one is? I'm spinning, and then these spikes aren't as big. It's not as aggressive, okay? So the Kutzalls, this is how it goes. The black ones, like the part here that's painted black, they're the extremes. They're the most aggressive ones. The silver ones that look like they have no paint, but they're painted silver, they're the medium aggressive ones. And then the gold ones, they're the least aggressive ones. So there's 3 different categories in aggressiveness for Kutzall burrs, right? So we got this piece of, I'm not going to use this burr on this hardwood because this will, I'll show you. But it makes, like I said, be warned, it will make your burrs dull super fast. It will cut real nice when it's sharp. But once it gets dull, it takes a lot longer to take the wood away. We'll show you some examples on this softer piece of driftwood. It's all spalted and stuff here. Like I said, it's some type of fruit wood. Okay, so I got the Dremel bit in the Dremel handpiece, the Kutzall Extreme Flame Burr. Why this Flame Burr is my favorite? It's like a football. It's like a multi-purpose burr. You know, you see in the middle, it's thick there. So if you want to do a deep carving, you just take it down and use the thickness, right? But if you want to do a thin carving, just use the point and do some little scratches. Okay, so let's just do a couple passes on this hardwood. Okay, so you can see there. So it cuts, but be warned, it will get dull. Now we got this softwood head here. And don't carve as fast as I carve. They call me heavy hands. I carve things and I fast and I break things fast too. Okay, so you see how fast these things cut, right? So this was the beginning of a wood spirit. Now let's see, let me show you the taper burr like this. This is another Kutzall Extreme. And we'll show you how we do undercuts. Okay. Okay, so pretend that we're doing some flower petals. So like here's a petal, here's a petal. Got some petals coming up here. And all the petals are, the tips are facing down here, right? So for the, and so you'd have, like for example, you'd have another petal coming out under here and then one coming here. And then this isn't how I carve video. This is just showing the Dremel bits I like. So we got this, oh, we got different wrong burr on there. We're going to put that taper burr on. So pretend we got some flower petals drawn on here and I got a couple cut in. So with this taper burr, this is the extreme. See, it's long, skinny, and pointy. I just go like this. This would be called an undercut. There you can see how the shadows are starting to pop out now because you cut underneath there and then you can carry this other flower petal, carry on, carry on. So, but these extreme burrs do leave good marks. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you, but these little pointy, spiky things, they leave little marks. So that's why they have 3 different levels, right? You got your most aggressive. So then what I would do is I would use a silver one. I don't know if this one's silver or gold, but you can see the spikes are nowhere near as big. You can't even see the spikes on this one, so I think this is the gold one. So I'll do my first cuts with the real aggressive one. Then I'll come along with this one, and this will act as like a sander, right? Okay, so I'll just show you how I use this really quick. Okay, so this is the reverse taper burr. I believe it's the gold one, so it's the least aggressive. So once I got all my undercuts there, I'll... See, then I'll just go along and I'll clean it all up, and then your carving's basically almost done. You can hook up a diamond burr after too. So you got this, I think it's a sphere burr. It's like a ball on there. This is how you do to make like nice, like make a bowl or something. See? What else? See, like you got another taper burr here, different, it's like a friggin' cone burr, but it's all like pushed in the other way. It's got a cutter on the bottom, so you can do nice cut lines like this. So then you can get a nice straight edge there too while you're cutting. Okay, so when I talk about Dremel carving bits I use, they're not really Dremel carving bits, but this is basically the only real Dremel carving bit I'll use that Dremel makes. So this is the Dremel bit number 125. I think it's the 125. This is what you use, like Ryan Cook and Uncle Kevin used to get the nice dark, it burns the wood at the same time. So it's the Dremel bit 125. Okay. It comes smaller than this too, and I think that might be the Dremel number 122 or 121. Don't hold me to that, but I'm pretty sure this is the 125. So when you use this bit, this bit here, it burns the wood at the same time. So it's gonna burn the wood a lot better if you hook it up to your Dremel direct and don't use the flex shaft, because the flex shaft is too much what would be the less resistance in here. Anyways, long story short, put it in your Dremel itself and it will burn a lot better than when it's in your Dremel flex shaft. So let's just see here. See how it burnt the wood at the same time? You guys could probably see the smoke. Let's try on the softwood. Whew, smoky. Okay, well that shows how that works. Okay, so these bits, these are diamond burrs. These are just cheap ones. You can buy them in like sets of 20 at your local hardware store, or I think maybe even Walmart sells these, or Princess Auto, or in Canada, or in America it would be Harbor Freight. So you could buy sets like 10 or 20 for like $5-6 to $10. These are really good for sanding. Ben's Studio on the Lake, his channel there, he uses the ruby burrs, and Just Carve Rob uses the ruby burrs. I haven't used the ruby burrs yet because, well, I don't have them. And then you got, once again, the peterblair sanding mandrel here. If you guys want to get this mandrel, you can go in my description below. Once again, you'll see Peterblair's email. Okay, so there is basically all the bits that I use to Dremel wood carve. All the Dremel bits I use. So I hope this video is able to help you. Also, the more different bits that you have, the better your carvings are going to get. Okay, so you'll see here, like these are the bigger 1/4 inch ones, like the spiky ones. There's aluminum cutter for your Fordham. These are all my Fordham bits up here, and all my Dremel bits down here. I hope it helped you all. Have fun, be safe, and let's talk about the dusk masks I use in my next video.